This one post honestly made me so happy and like so excited to be a part of this community in this game, because the creators, Jasco, really want to see this game grow, want it to be fun, and want it to be healthy. How's it going, everybody? This is Ryan. You guys are watching Some For All, and today Kirishima got errated and coordinated effort got banned. Thank goodness. I'm sure this does not come as a shock to many. A lot of people expected that something had to have happened, or something had to have been coming up with specifically coordinated effort, especially with some of the new cards that they're releasing in set 2. Coordinated effort is a card that is so damn good. It's so good that it's a unique foundation, but people are playing 4 of it and any of the symbols that it's under. And decks, typically this is supposed to be used for Kirishima. Now, of course, the beauty of the My Hero Academia card game is that you can use cards from other archetypes, from other characters, and use them in their decks. But it's like, when decks like Aizawa are also playing 4 of these, I mean, come on, like, the card is cracked. Like, anybody that thinks that this card is balanced is clearly out of their mind. This card is amazing. Kirishima is also cracked. Now, he's not as broken, but he's still really damn good. Like, he's still really good, even after the errata. So let's go ahead and get into this. So, we had a great weekend with our Provisional Showdown being the largest event in Jasco Games history. That's honestly amazing. Hundreds of players battled out to reach the top 16 spots, but it was easy for any player to see, honestly, that there's an issue with the format. Once we reached the top 16, half of them were the same character, Kirishima. Half of them. Now take a look here. These are all the people that top. This is the top 16. Congrats to all of them. But my goodness, guys. If you have a top 16 and half of the decks are Kirishima. Oh, and did I mention the top 4 were all Kirishima? Basically, at all of the big major events that happened, Kirishima is topped in every single one of them. At the Omaha 1K, I believe Kirishima was also top 4. Like, the top 4 decks were all Kirishima, if I'm correct. If not, 3 of the 4 decks were all Kirishima. So, I mean, this guy's a problem. That goes without saying. So with Kirishima's errata, they are now changing him to build the top card of your deck face down once per turn on your turn only. Before, it was once per turn. So essentially, this meant that your opponent basically got punished for attacking you, because you would attack and then Kirishima's like, I'm going to build a foundation. So you got a free foundation. And that's why everybody said Kirishima's basically almost like a 7-hander in a way, because he's getting 2 guaranteed builds every turn. He can then look at the cards that he builds, even though they're face down, because cards in your staging area can be looked at, unlike your cards in momentum, and then he can go ahead and pick them back up, right? So speaking of picking them back up, let's talk about a second effect. Once per turn, add 1 foundation from your stage to your hand. This attack gets +1 or -2 damage. So that part stays the same, but it goes from twice per turn to once per turn. And I think this is a healthy errata. I think that this is a healthy nerf, because it still keeps his idea in place, it still keeps his game plan in place, but it's no longer as oppressive. It no longer feels like you can't do damage to this guy. It no longer feels like he's the strongest character in the game. Losing coordinated effort, but also losing some of the built-in power that Kirishima has, will definitely level the playing field a little bit. I think that this is a change that needed to happen. He already has a ton of really good cards. All of his attacks are really damn strong, forcing your opponent into tough situations. And at the end of the day, you know, it sucks. At first, I also wanted to be a Kirishima main. You guys know my playmat. It's Bakugo and Kirishima. I love Kirishima, but I ultimately didn't build him because he just became so popular, right? Like, people wanted to play the deck just because the deck was good and not because they like Kirishima. And for me, as a more casual type of player, like, I want to play what's fun, but I also don't like mirror matches in any game. I don't like them when I play fighting games. I don't like them in card games. I don't like it in anything. I hate mirror matches with a passion. And so because of that, I'm like, I don't want to play Kirishima. So who knows? Maybe now that Kirishima's nerfed, like he's not shit, right? Like he's not a bad card. It's not like he's terrible now. So, but I'm hoping, obviously, especially when people are playing competitively, I mean, they're playing the best decks because they want to win. That's how competitive works. You play the best things to win because you're literally playing not to lose, right? That's the whole point. So hopefully there's something more OP so people jump on that instead as they normally do in card games. And that will open up me to play some Kirishima. But ultimately, for me personally, I think this is perfectly fine. Banning coordinated effort. I think the Kirishima errata seems pretty fair. Now, real quick, I want to talk about a card that could potentially really abuse coordinated effort, and then a card like coordinated effort. And funnily enough, they're both in set 2, and they are both character cards. So the first one being Gran Torino. So take a look at his first response. Destroy one foundation. After your charge, fury, or kick attack is blocked, build it face down committed. Playable while committed. This is basically a coordinated effort because obviously you're going to play a charge, fury, or kick attack if you're playing Gran Torino to take advantage of this effect. So basically it effectively does the same thing, right? After your attack is blocked, it has that same wording, right? After your block attack resolves, after your attack is blocked, build it. This one builds it face down committed. This one just builds it face down. So right off the bat, that's already a nerf because although this isn't a character card, you have to play the face down card that you build committed, whereas with coordinated effort, it comes readied, right? The next thing is you also have to destroy a foundation in order to play this. So it's basically a 1-for-1. Coordinated effort, you're just getting a free build. This one, you have to actually sacrifice one of your foundations in order to build it. So in a way, it's just a more balanced coordinated effort. It's just a lot more healthier coordinated effort. It's the same effect, but it just costs more. And this is done right. Then of course he has a little bit of Kirishima in him. Commit, discard one card, add one face down foundation to your hand, your rival discards one card. So that's also a pretty powerful ability. That's also pretty cool. It's kind of Kirishima-esque, but it's interesting because if coordinated effort was still here, you'd be able to do some shenanigans with it. You'd be able to potentially build twice just from your attacks, clearing your card pool twice. He has access to the same symbols as Kirishima, basically, avoiding good. I mean, Gran Torino, don't get me wrong, I still think Gran Torino is going to be a really, really good card, but I think that he'd probably be an even more of a problem if coordinated effort was left there. But ultimately, I do think that Gran Torino is basically a balanced coordinated effort. And then this is the card that I think, like, after they made it, they're like, yeah, we have to ban this. So the new Ingenium promo, or quirk pack rather. So let's take a look at its response. After an attack is played, it gets +3 or -3 speed once per turn. If it is your attack, each time your rival plays an enhance ability, during this attack's enhance step, ready one foundation that has not been readied this combat phase. So, you know what your opponent gets for interacting with you? You get to go ahead and ready your coordinated effort that you already used in your previous attack. How awesome is that? So now you get to use coordinated effort twice. And guess what? You could use it because it shares the good symbol. So I don't know, things like that just made me get worried. I'm just like, before this errata and the ban came out, I was just like, oh my god. Like, honestly, I was not looking forward to where like the game was headed. But now, after this errata and ban, like, I feel good. I feel happy. I think we're going to see a lot more other decks. I will say we're probably just going to see a shit ton of Jiro now. Because think about it. Jiro has been doing really, really well at events all throughout the time that the game's been out. And she's nerfed online. And a lot of the events have been online. So a nerfed version of Jiro is still an amazing deck. So full power Jiro, especially with no Kirishima, granted her matchup against Kirishima wasn't the worst. Obviously Kirishima was still just a better character point blank. Now that she doesn't really have to deal with full powered Kirishima anymore, I think Jiro is going to be a very, very big threat. With that being said, I'm super happy about this. Let me know what your guys' thoughts are in the comment section below, and I will catch you later. Peace.